Hello and welcome to another WATCHPRO Originals. Today we're going on another shopping trip. On Monday, which was the day that stores in England were allowed to reopen, we did a spin around London. So if you haven't seen that already, just take a look at the WATCHPRO YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and like while you're there. Today we're going to the city of Cambridge, the University City of Cambridge. It's about 20 miles from where I live, so I'm going to be driving there, and we'll get a feel for, you know, a much smaller city and we're also going on a Saturday. It's Saturday afternoon. We'll probably get there at about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and in normal times Cambridge at this time of year on a sunny day would be absolutely packed with tourists and people from around the country, you know, foreign tourists, tourists from around the country. It really is an absolute delight to be there. So yeah, really looking forward to this one, and speak to you again in a second. Okay, so here we are in Cambridge. I've started out a little way from the city centre where the actual retail is, because I thought I'd give you a little view of one of the colleges behind me, although I think I've got the sun behind me, so it's not working too well. We'll walk through the town just to give you a feeling for who's here. I mean, I really can tell you that on a normal mid-June sunny day it would be absolutely heaving with foreign and domestic tourists and students just finishing up their year. So we'll see how we get on. I should probably say at this stage that I'm a born optimist, so I feel like the lockdown has gone on too long. It hasn't been targeted enough. Working age people probably should have been back at work much earlier than they are, and I don't feel in the slightest bit unsafe. I have to also add that I've been following rules, but on this occasion I've forgotten my face mask. Not that anybody is wearing face masks outside, as you're about to see, but if we go into any shops, then if I'm told to wear a mask, then I obviously will. So I'm going to flip the camera around and just take you a whiz down one of the historic streets of Cambridge with the universities along the right hand side, and you'll see a few shops as well. So let's turn this around and get going. So the colleges are actually closed from what I can see. Normally you'd be able to go in and see some of the beautiful architecture, the green quadrangles. They're absolutely gorgeous. Good to see that the outdoor market here is sort of a craft market. It's pretty popular normally. It's not that there's nobody about, it's just that there's not many people about, despite everything being open, apart from the restaurants and bars and those types of things which we're expecting to open on July the 4th in England. That's obviously going to make a big difference in terms of how much fun it is to come into town. All the shops are open. Quiet. Not really many jewellers around here, although there used to be a Windsor Bishop here on the right hand side. I think roughly where that Sea Salt Cornwall sign is. Windsor Bishop is a Rolex and Patek Philippe AD in Norwich. Had a second store here selling Tag Heuer and Bremont. Great little store actually, and great shame that it didn't make it. But this is kind of, you're not really in a shopping area here, even though there are shops. Anyway, next stop, you get a feel for how busy it is around here. But we're going to be in the town centre in a minute, and I'm going to take you to Mappin Webb. Okay, so we're at Mappin Webb. It's in the market square of Cambridge, and there's a little news story for us here because they're just working on the building of a Rolex store. I just had you couldn't actually get into the store, it's appointment only, it's full up. I asked whether I could get an appointment this afternoon, the doorman said I couldn't, but that's good news that there are no appointments available. The store looked actually fairly busy. The new Rolex store that we're seeing being built here is going to double the size of this Cambridge shop, and as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty certain Mappin Webb has got Cambridge entirely to itself when it comes to Rolex, so it's a fabulously successful store. I'll just flip around again and have another little look. That's the Rolex store being built, and this is the original part of the store. And I'll just spin around so you can have a look at the market and get your bearings. Absolutely beautiful day, reasonable amount of people around. I mean, I'm not going to estimate, maybe it's 50% as busy as it normally would be, maybe a little worse than that, but you know, for the first Saturday after stores have reopened, it's not looking too bad. Now we're going to go to the Grand Arcade, which is where all the major multiples are based. Okay, so we're in Lion Yard, which is a sort of older, slightly old-fashioned sort of parade of shops through Cambridge. It's been overtaken really by the Grand Arcade, which has got all of the key shops in, and that's where I'm going to flip us around now and literally take you on a straight run through it. I mean, I've got to say that after my trip into London on the first day, although obviously it was a Monday, this is so much busier. I mean, much busier than Oxford Street or Regent Street, a million times more busy than Bond Street. First thing to note, you've got a one-way system through the shopping mall, which everybody seems to be sticking to. Just have a quick look across to F. Hines on the right-hand side. You can see there's basically a service desk there with a screen in front of it. There's sanitizer stations. It looks like there would be a queuing system for sure. Lots and lots of security for a very successful store. As you can see, I mean, this is a sort of indoor-outdoor. I'm not sure what set of rules would apply here. Indoor, I guess. H. Samuel's got a queuing system, and I'm very happy to see that it's got queues. All of its staff are wearing masks. This is the open style of store, so that you would ordinarily just be able to move in from all sides, but they've got velvet ropes and other barriers, so that you've only got one way into the store and then a one-way system around the store. But a good level of business being done in there. Ernest Jones, the other Signet Jewellers retailer, is just here. A huge corner unit, fantastic position for Ernest Jones. And even though I'm not going to film inside, I can certainly describe what I'm seeing through the window, which is that there are some customers seated, there's some customers standing, the staff are wearing face masks, the customers are not. Unlike H. Samuel, obviously much higher value goods in Ernest Jones, so they've got a full door as they come in. sort of semi-sealed off, but obviously there's a queuing system to come in. We'll carry on through. I mean, a lot of the shops have got plenty of people in them. I mean, I have to say, I went to the supermarket this morning and it was absolutely packed. I mean, there was queuing outside, but I'm not sure why. It was a complete and utter free-for-all. So you can see that people are starting to get considerably braver. And we have a fossil store here on the left, which appears to be still closed, which is interesting. There's a sign up on the door saying that they're monitoring the situation. I can think of absolutely no health reason why that isn't open, so I think that must have been more of a commercial decision. And then I think, yes, Fraser Hart is just up here on the right hand side. Again, a great position because John Lewis is the big anchor store here, and this is also the entrance to the car park, so Fraser Hart has really done a fantastic job here. Big Tag Heuer display. It's talking about a mid-season 50% off sale. It's a pretty open store to get into. There's no door as such, but there's social distancing stickers all over the floor. I'm not seeing. We've got Tudor and Tag Heuer as the main watch brands here. Not seeing any customers today. And I believe that is it for this shopping centre. So I'm going to pause unless I see something else. Okay, so going back into the Grand Arcade from the other end now. There's a Pandora store on the left. Now, at Christmas time, if you go into a shopping mall and there's a queue anywhere, it's going to be outside Pandora. You know they haven't had the best of times, but there's a good load of customers in there, I would say. Staff with masks. Now on the left here, just coming up is Daniel Wellington, and again, it's closed, which is interesting. I mean, 90% of stores are open here. Among the very few that aren't are Fossil and Daniel Wellington, ironically both selling sub £500 watches. There's a note on the door talking about safety being the highest priority. But again, none of the other shops seem to be having a problem with the health issues here. Upstairs we got Starbucks. Get a coffee, that's open. And that's pretty much it. I'll just flip the camera around again. Yeah, I mean, this arcade has all of the major multiples, and the Mappin Webb store that we took a look at a moment ago is literally 50 yards around the corner. There is another major shopping centre, the Grafton Centre in Cambridge, but it's out of town. It's not where the tourists tend to go, so it's not where the jewellers really want to be. So I've pretty much shown you all of the watch selling stores that there are here. I mean, my overall impression, once again, a little bit like in London, I feel completely safe, even though I've forgotten my mask. I haven't been into any of the stores. I think I probably would have been offered a mask and hand sanitizer, that type of thing. But great to see that it's busier here today than I saw in London. I suspect that the people's confidence is going to rise week after week, we've been lucky in some ways that we're coming out of this lockdown in the summer months, because people, I'm sure, are much more willing to get out in the open air, and of course it's much more pleasurable to get out in the open air. So yeah, I'd say Cambridge is looking good. I'd be glad if I was opening my shop here, but at the same time, if I was told that the footfall was below 50% of this time last year, that wouldn't surprise me. And if the shop, if the watch shops were telling me that their business is considerably slower, that would sound about right to me as well, from what I've seen through the doors and the windows. So yeah, I hope you've learned a little bit about how things are going in week one after stores have reopened after lockdown. I'll keep these going. I think I'd like to go up to the really key watch destinations, Leeds, Manchester, and Glasgow in the coming weeks. And yeah, I hope you'll join me for those. Please don't forget to like these videos and to subscribe to the WatchPro channel. See you next time.